Hello and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. We talk a bunch of animated shows and movies here with new podcasts every other Wednesday. Find everything about us at overlyanimated.com. I'm your host, Dylan Hysen, and I will be joined shortly by Aly and April to talk about the latest run of the Owl House episodes 6 to 10 of Season 2. We had a great discussion about that, so you can check that out. Find the time description, the timestamp in the podcast description for when that discussion starts and when we get into various topics, and there was a ton to talk about there. In terms of the podcast schedule, if you are hoping for the next Miraculous Ladybug podcast, that will be coming next. Our next podcast on September 1st will be on the latest 4 episodes of Ladybug that have aired in the US, so a little bit longer to wait about that. But I'm sure it will be worth it to hear all of our thoughts on these episodes, including Wishmaker. Very exciting stuff. I know this will be hotly anticipated. Before we get to the Owl House, I wanted to briefly get into some of the recent great things that have been airing in Western animation as part of our What We've Been Watching segment, and there's a ton of stuff that's been airing. I will not be covering everything, just the stuff I have seen. But to get into some things quickly, I wanted to start by highlighting Centaurworld, actually. Its first season aired on Netflix recently. It's 10 episodes. It is a very weird and unique show. I think it's so much fun. I think it's one of my favorite things this year. It is, I would describe it as like a combination of Kipo and the Age of Wonder Beasts and My Little Pony. But it's also a full musical series, which is, I think, one of the main draws. The music is great, and it also, in addition to all this, features a combination of animation styles, which you know is my thing. So it's really, that's a really cool aspect done by 2 different studios. It's very goofy, but if you, whether you're into that or not, if you stick with it to the end, there's a very dark and incredible kind of conclusion to the season. So highly, highly recommend checking out Centaurworld. Next is Rick and Morty Season 5, which we've now seen 8 episodes of, and the 1-hour season finale is coming in September, which is very exciting. I think this has been a very good season of Rick and Morty. That being said, it is, I think, a little different from past seasons because I think a lot of these middle episodes of the season have been much more self-contained, a little bit more wacky. Probably a result of just what we're going to see now from this 100-episode order. I think these have been more hit or miss episodes for some people, so I could tell you which ones I particularly liked in the middle of the season, but I think it's going to vary for people. I loved the Thanksgiving episode, the dumb turkey episode. I actually thought it was like one of the best ever Rick and Morty episodes, like top 5 amazing episode. It was so funny. There are other fun ones too. The most recent one that just aired, episode 8, more of a plot episode, a big kind of lore with the bird person Rick history, including a potentially big mythology reveal that our Rick's original Beth died. That was kind of thrown in there, but we'll see if that's followed up on. So exciting stuff from Rick and Morty heading into the season finale. Tuca and Bertie just wrapped up an excellent second season. With the season finale just aired, and it was really gorgeous. I thought the last 4 episodes of the season were all like really, really good. It's really good stuff about Tuca's kind of unhealthy relationship with Kara. Especially episode 9. I thought that was one of the best ones of the season. Episode 4, previously still one of my favorites. That was the Tuca and Night episode. And Tuca as a character this season has just been really excellent. So I loved that. And just a great season of Tuca and Bertie, and renewed for season 3 now, so that's very exciting. Central Park just wrapped up the first half of its second season, I think, and the last 3 episodes all really good, including 2 really, really good episodes. Central Park has been occasionally some of the best episodes on TV. Episode 6, the Shadow episode, weird, emotional, it was great. Episode 8 with the Lego and the Lego style fantasies was just excellent as well. So some great songs in that one. Impressive stuff from Central Park. I hope they can keep it going. And then 2 last things. What If has started airing on Disney Plus. I've just seen the first episode so far. That came out last week. So the show is a Marvel show, big deal, animated full Marvel series. It's like alternate timelines for the Marvel movies. The first one was about what if Peggy was Captain America, she's Captain Carter. It was really fun. It's pretty campy, but I thought it was fun. I thought it looked really good. So I thought it was a fun premiere to What If. And Vivo is a new movie on Netflix featuring songs from Lin-Manuel Miranda. And I thought it was a very fun movie. Very emotional at the beginning and the end, and some great songs in it. So I think worth checking out. It's time to talk The Owl House. We're talking episodes 6 to 10 of season 2, as I'm now joined by Aly Martin.
Hey.
And April Collins.
Hi there.
Yes, back to talk Owl House as the first half of season 2 has just concluded, season 2A. And we have not yet discussed any of episodes 6 to 10 except for episode 8 because we had a brief podcast on it. So in this podcast, we will cover Hunting Palismen, Eda's Requiem, Knockin' on Hooty's Door, Eclipse Lake, and Yesterday's Lie. For us, Yesterday's Lie just aired. We're going to be talking about that, the kind of mid-season finale, in addition to the rest of the episodes. We did have a Hooty's Door Lumity specific podcast that you can check out on anywhere you're finding this podcast if you want the Lumity thoughts from episode 8. This will be 90%, cross our fingers, non-Lumity discussion on this podcast. We're going to talk about everything that's not Lumity. There were Lumity moments in Eclipse Lake, so we will reference those, but I have it at the bottom of the outline. But, whenever it comes up, and there's one Lumity line in Yesterday's Lies. That's it. That's it. So most of this podcast, if you're not as into the Luz and Amity romance, will be not about that. Although who isn't?
Turn back now. No, don't turn back. Sorry.
That would have been last podcast. But I mean, actually, I do have. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm going to bring up Lumity in one of the first topics, just because I think it relates.
Listen, it's important, and it does really
more about character motivation than the actual. But yes. So it'll time. But we have a lot of stuff that we haven't talked about. Hunter, about Raine, all this stuff, in addition to the stuff that just happened in Yesterday's Lies. So check the podcast description if you want some timestamps for hopefully, unless the discussion bleeds into itself on when we talk about various things. But yes, we're getting into these 5 episodes of The Owl House. Spoilers for all of episodes up to episode 10 of season 2 of The Owl House. Make sure you have seen Yesterday's Lie. We are going to get into it right away, and then come back and listen to this discussion. So let's start with Yesterday's Lie that just aired, which I don't know if I want to say like epic mid-season finale, but in its own right, I think pretty big episode. So let's, fresh on our minds, we could just start with kind of like reactions and what you thought of the episode. Aly, what did you think?
Well, I really enjoyed it, and I thought, going in, just the whole fandom was like collectively terrified, and I was too. I thought it would be more kind of like upsetting in the traumatic parent, not traumatic parent, but like traumatic experiences with parenting way. But I thought it was handled really well, and I'm glad we got finally a backstory into quote unquote creepy Luz, who's not creepy at all, and they need to be protected. I enjoyed it a lot. I think it's a good cliffhanger to stay on, even if it's not like quote unquote epic. Like you said, it's epic in its own right, because it showed what a wonderful mother Camila is after everybody was worried about her. I'm worried for Luz. It's just I want more. So I think it did its job pretty well. It was pretty great.
Nice. Yeah, I'd say like localized maybe of a finale. We did not Belos isn't really a factor other than some more building of some slight motivation. Still have the we get the portal
and some
door, but
potential backstory that we'll get into later.
Yes,
maybe.
Yes. Portal door still could be made in the future, I guess, but they didn't fully get it working anyway. And how dare the fandom have called her Creepy Luz? This is that's all of your faults.
I'm pretty sure we've called her Creepy Luz repeatedly, but also I think Nicole called her Creepy Luz, and that's why everyone stuck onto it.
Yeah.
Luz's voice actress.
She's, creepy before, but there you go. April, what did you think of this episode?
I agree that it was not what I thought it was going to be based. Even like the title feels a little misleading.
I have no idea why this episode is called Yesterday's Lie.
Yeah,
after having watched it.
Yeah, I was trying to figure it out, but I don't know.
I was kind of like she told a lot of lies yesterday. Here's a new one, maybe.
Right. I guess that kind of works, but yes.
That's the thing. It was today's lie. Sorry, I didn't.
It was like the now lie. But I enjoyed it. definitely not what I thought for like a mid-season finale, but I think it did help. Like, we did get a lot of answers to things that we had kind of been like wondering, such as Creepy Luz, who she is, what she's doing, and I think it leaves a lot of potential to go forward in the future, because something that Luz has really been focusing on was just like letting her mother know like where she is, that she's okay. And we got that. So now I'm kind of excited to see how Luz progresses forward. I mean, obviously she's still going to try and get back to her mom, but it seems like it's a different like motivation coming out of it.
Yeah, that's interesting. We'll talk about that from Luz's motivation. I thought it was a great episode. It was, I think we're trying to speculate what's going to be with Creepy Luz. How does it even work? Is it going to be like Belos tied in? This was like the more like localized, quieter, I guess, answer. But I really like it because now it's like all this Belos stuff is still in play, and it's like so much interesting. Kind of hinting that we've gotten from these past 5 episodes, which I want to talk about pretty soon. But I kind of like how it like still like most stuff is set up for the second half of the season. We resolve this one. It was a really good episode, really different from the rest of the Owl House, like mostly on Earth. I think the highlight scene with Luz and Camila in the rain, with the promise. I think it's such a gorgeous, amazing scene. V is great the whole episode. I think it's like one of the best ones of the season, even if it's different and maybe not what people are expecting.
And that scene, especially at the end, like you mentioned with Camila and Luz, is one of the best, if not the best, from the season. Yeah,
I really liked it. It's just gorgeously animated and great character emotional moments there. I like that, even though it maybe isn't like epic in the grand scheme of the plot, I like that most stuff is still in play in the second half of the season, sets up a lot of potential interesting things coming with Belos, with all of our other aspects of the show. And I do really like it for Luz's character, which I want to get into. But let's talk about the answer to who Creepy Luz is V, who's a basilisk.
Can't believe we had put it together.
Yeah, I mean, basilisks were in the first day episode in season 1. Pretty minor thing that they kind of brought back, but I don't think that really matters. That was from season 1, is just kind of tied in a little bit. And apparently V went through the portal right when Luz came in the
I feel like
pilot.
It tied in completely, because the whole thing was like they shouldn't exist, and she's a shapeshifter in season 1, the basilisk. So like it just, I'm surprised it went over our heads. And you mentioned that like we were all thinking like, is Belos connected somehow? Is Eda connected somehow? Now I feel like the conspiracy theorist guy, the flat earther in this episode.
Look, there's some other conspiracy theories we have about Belos and Hunter specifically.
Oh no,
I think those are going to be much more warranted than these.
Definitely.
Look, I think we always knew the Creepy Luz stuff was like a shot in the dark. We didn't really know what was going on here, but so this is just like something. Yeah, it's nice that it ties into something that from season 1, even if it wasn't like a big part of the show. It is interesting. There's potentially basilisks and Grimwalkers in play, as they seem kind of similar, but we don't know anything about Grimwalkers yet. We'll get into that in a minute. But so just V was just came into the portal when Luz went. Aly, what did you think of meeting V here?
I'm sorry I ever doubted you, precious child. You must be protected. I just feel so... This is like everyone's joking about how it's a quicker redemption than Lilith, and it only took a week for that to happen. This happened in like 2 seconds. No, she's perfect. I loved getting the background of like how she got to the human realm. I thought it was going to be like when Luz opened the portal at the end of season 1 instead of at the beginning when she first went to the Boiling Isles. So I was like, oh, that's not really a subversion, but it was surprising. I mean, I also like how we're going to get to like spoilers later in the episode. I like that she bonded with the people like at camp. Like she kind of made Luz nerd friends.
Yeah.
She's the best. And when I heard her voice, I was like, oh my God, Michaela Dietz. Hello.
Yeah, more voiced by Michaela Dietz, who's Amethyst, and Steven Universe. It very much sounds like her. It's fun. She was in Adventure Time too recently, I think. So.
Oh yeah.
Love hearing her pop up in these shows recently. April, what do you think of V?
She's so sweet, and I love that like her intentions going through have been pure from the beginning, and she just wanted like companionship and you know, I'm glad that like she, you know, was just taking, I mean, essentially taking care of Camila the whole time. So, and again, just like living a normal life, you know, went to camp. I'm assuming she had a great time. And I'm not like, I feel like, yeah, her sort of redemption with Luz was very quick, but also that's so within like Luz's character at the same time, is to just be like, to immediately see that like, oh, she doesn't mean any harm, and like, and to help her out. So I
definitely
love
like that subversion, because we all thought she was going to be evil.
Yeah,
she's
I'm like,
precious.
Thank goodness she's just precious. And I enjoyed her. She was sweet. That's the best way to sum it up.
Yeah, I think she's precious. I loved her and Luz throughout the episode interacting. You know, I assume this is mostly going to be like a one episode character, although, you know, she'll probably come back at some point. It was like it's a fun one episode character, I think, here.
She had a tarot card reading that is talking about her destiny, so like she could come back.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm assuming it was definitely about Luz, but it could be about both of them.
Presumably she's staying with Camila after, so whenever Luz does come back to Earth, you know, she'll be there. Presumably she'll factor into at least like some sort of epilogue. But yeah, I mean, this ties into the second major part, I think, coming out of this episode, which is the promise that Camila wants Luz to make. And, you know, in and of itself, you know, you could say, is it important? Is it not important? But just tying to how this is about Luz's character, which is, you know, after in that rain scene, Luz ends up telling Camila everything that's happened. So now she knows, and she says, after like knowing that Luz chose to stay in the Boiling Isles in season 1, Camila makes Luz promise she'll stay on Earth when she gets back, which Luz seemed a little bit reluctant to say, but she was being pulled back. So I think a potentially big moment, at least emotionally, kind of for the two characters.
I think so.
And
I just hope that they get to talk more somehow.
Yeah, because like at the surface, like Camille asking that of Luz is kind of a lot and a little like a red flag, at least for me. But I mean, I'm sure that if she understood, like, you know, how Luz essentially has a family over there, her girlfriend's over there, like that it's not necessarily a bad place. And I think if, you know, Luz just got the opportunity to explain that, you know, I wasn't trying to run away from you, or, you know, it wasn't that she had a bad life. It was just, the life in the Boiling Isles is more suited to her. So,
yeah, I think it's a good point that she doesn't know all the details, even though Luz has tried to explain some of it to her. You know, did Luz mention Amity during her explanation? We didn't hear it.
That I need to know.
We need to know.
Well, I just have to know if she mentioned anity, because like even King at the end was like, "Did you mention me?" And she's like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "I don't believe you."
Yeah, she might not have. You assume Eda would be the first person to mention. Although you know, it might be like something she'd be hesitant to say. Like, I have a new mom.
What if she only mentioned Hooty? Because the Owl House
be the last person to mention, but
just Hooty. Wow,
I'm living in a house.
I guess to explain the concept of the Owl House, Hooty might. Okay, fair.
And then to explain how she got a girlfriend, because Hooty made Lumity canon.
I think you can tell that story. Okay, so we're already getting into Lumity.
I'm sorry.
Luz and Amity 10 years from now saying how they got together. They're not going to say, "Oh, Hooty set us up." Like they're gonna find this version of the story that doesn't include Hooty.
I'm gonna commission someone to write a fanfic that like they're married 30 years later with a child, and they say, "Do you want to know how we got together? We had an Owl House set us up."
Yeah,
we had an Owl House.
If they go to a party and they're just a casual story, like how did you guys ask each other out? Like they're not gonna do this whole Hooty elaborate.
An owl threw me into a tunnel of love.
I know.
And...
No, it wasn't.
What's a tunnel of love? because Amity
Oh,
didn't
God.
know.
Oh gosh. Okay. Now, will I remember what we were talking about?
Sorry, we were talking about Camila and Luz.
Oh, I just want to talk about Camila as a character for a second. Like, I know
Yes.
a lot of people in the fandom did, assume she was like maybe not a great mom. And I think it's like at least warranted to have like some suspicions about that just after her brief appearance in the pilot.
Yeah.
But I think she comes across obviously extremely well in this episode. But I do think she's she's complex. It's like not great to try to like force her to promise this, but she doesn't have all the information. I think it's extremely understandable after she did just learn that Luz was like purposefully staying away from her. So I don't.
And
I'm
also
not,
just
that
staying
her
away.
daughter hasn't actually been living with her for however
yes,
long.
it's a
that
lot
it's
to
been.
put on her. Yeah.
On top of that, there's the picture of the whole family. I guess if they're still a family, her dad is not really in the shot, so people are like, maybe they got a divorce and like it hit her really hard, so she already has trauma of people leaving her, so that could make it more
Right, we don't know.
sad.
Luz's dad is like, it's one of those things where he's in there's a picture with him, but his face is like blurred out, like it's like the glare is on top
we
of
have
it.
no idea. It's just an assumption, and if it's
yeah.
correct, it would just make everything so much worse in that way.
Presumably, they're not
Yeah.
together in some form, but I mean, she's extremely strong throughout this episode, and pretty kick butt, if you will. And I don't not necessarily mad at her like in any sense for this reaction at the end. That being said, I do think she is like a complex mother who like there's some bad things, like probably she shouldn't have tried to send her to that camp in the beginning. But as we see the other side. Like you get a bad impression in the pilot, but then right here we see like right after that she sees who she thinks is Luz, and there she's like really nice, like let's drive together or something. So
Yeah.
we were like
And then
missing
also at the beginning of the
a lot of
episode-
information of our impression of her, I would say.
At the beginning when she's talking to V, who she thinks is Luz, and she's like, oh yeah, camp did change you, and she like, you could tell that like maybe this was a mistake because you're losing your creativity. Like that's the vibe I got from her.
And another thing is
she missed Luz is what it was.
Yeah.
She encourages Luz's creativity at some point in this episode as well. So it was not
Pretty
as
much
simple.
throughout, it seems like. I mean, even in the beginning, she's like, you used to love making me things. And then, I mean, apart from the anime, because anime was a mistake, like at the end, she's like, oh, I'm glad you're still staying creative, throughout.
Yeah. So in general, like, just a much more positive picture of Camila. There are like some faults for sure, but she's has a lot.
She's human. That's
she's
how you
human, and she has a lot on
below
her shoulders, especially in this episode
Well,
in her life.
there was a lot on her shoulders that we didn't know about, and now we kind of know some of the things that are on her shoulders.
Yeah, and so like Luz generally has a great loving mom, and this is kind of what I want to talk about with Luz's character motivation, because maybe to a certain extent, Yesterday's Lie seems like a weird choice as a mid-season finale. It doesn't involve Belos, it barely involves Boiling Isles, but I would say like when thinking about the Owl House, then the core of the show is Luz and her coming to the Boiling Isles and her pull between her home and this new place that she's also found a home in and she's fallen in love with. And that's like the emotional core of the show, I would say. So we see this episode demonstrates the side on Earth, because it's already powerful. That's just like was where she came from. It's her home. It's like everything she knows. But now we also like have this powerful emotional relationship with Camila, who we know is overall great, and they love each other. So I think that's going to be pulling at her as we have the rest of the season in the Boiling Isles, and all these things that Luz has come to love over there. And this is when I wanted to bring up Lumity, because I think like we've all like, oh, I really hope they get together during the show. It would be so great, so different. But like especially for the character motivations, like Lumity, Luz and Amity and Luz's life serves as like a strong emotional pull towards the Boiling Isles, opposite of Camila at Earth. So the fact that they're dating now, it's like, it's real. It's like, it's not just like, oh, I like her, but who knows if we'll ever be together, whatever, I'll just go back. Like this, she's like something like tangible pulling her with her relationship with Amity to the Boiling Isles. And that's like a really kind of impossible position for Luz to be in emotionally. She's not going to want to like give up either one, give up her mom and Earth, or Amity and the Boiling Isles, in addition to, of course, Eda and King and everyone else who she loves over there. But
then on the flip side, kind of both flip sides, I guess, neither like Camila and everybody on the Boiling Isles doesn't want to give Luz up either. So it's like, it's
Yeah.
impossible.
Right. Yeah. And unless Belos' plan goes through, which we'll talk about. But
and I think the other very like stark like contrast between like Camila and Earth and then like Eda and King on the Boiling Isles is that, especially, and this is kind of adds a little bit more weight to Camila asking Luz to promise that she won't leave again, is because it seems that like the idea of Luz finding a way back to the human world or realm is not so that she can just go back, but so for her to sort of live her life in both spaces.
Please.
Like I'm pretty sure, I can't remember who exactly, but at the end of the episode, someone was just like, "Oh, I can't wait to meet your mom," or something to that effect. And so it's like it's like the combining of the worlds versus like the harsh separation for them.
yeah, so I think this is like the setup to the second half of the season, is these pulling emotional factors on Luz, and like to me this is like the most important thing, even more more so than the Belos like actual plot of the show heading in. And so it's like, how is this going to be resolved? How is Luz gonna end up? Like for now, she still in theory is not able to make a real portal. This was like their best attempt, and she didn't actually get back to Earth. That being said, I definitely noticed it was just one finger of the Titan blood filled glove that she tore off, so they do have more to make an attempt in the future. In addition to Belos' attempt, which presumably will happen pretty soon.
Maybe in the opening of the next half of the season. Maybe it won't go well, or as well as we are expecting.
Yeah, let's come back to that in a second. But I mean, yeah, the door versus Day of Unity, is there a difference? So I love how this episode sets that up, and bringing Camila back into it is really important for Luz's character. And this was just so great, such a great episode for Luz's character. It just like, I don't know, like makes everything with like Eda better, makes Lumity better in its own right, just as like the complex emotional motivations of the main character of the show. I did end up really liking this as kind of a mid-season finale. And yeah, this promise, and it's like is the promise, like, is it binding? No, like Camila could probably be understanding if she had more information, right? But it's just like it's a thing that can be referenced that can weigh on Luz, I think, in the future.
And now she's gonna keep lying to her other family. Like, she's telling the truth to her mom, but like her second mom, she's like, "Mom can't wait to meet you," but no, stop lying.
Yeah, she didn't tell them about everything at the end.
Do you think she'll confide in any of her friends, including her girlfriend? Because I'm worried she's gonna lie to them.
I know. I feel like Amity would be the first person she wouldn't tell about this.
I know. Because she's like, you already have issues with your mom. I'm not gonna put my burden on you.
It'd just be like a lot for Amity to worry about. Like, I might never see Luz again if she has to go back and stay with her mom. In addition to her own parent stuff. So, I mean, I do hope she's able to talk to someone. There, it was nice she's able to talk to Camila and V here in this episode.
Just talk to Hooty.
Look, Hooty. We were coming off of Hooty being fairly reliable, so it's not probably not the worst option.
I'm not really saying it as a joke. It's true.
Yeah, I mean, it would be great if she was able to be open with Amity about this. I mean, they're newly dating, so I don't know if this is
but like maybe eventually.
Yeah,
it feels like it's going to come up maybe in like part of the season 2 finale, and then she's going to be sad. Amity's going to be sad.
It's going to come up at some point. It has to.
When it's inconvenient, of course.
Yeah, when it's the most inconvenient.
First kiss.
And if you're thinking about Lumity again, I said 90% non-Lumity, but the like drama with Lumity is this: like, it's like, will Luz be able to stay with Amity in the Boiling Isles in any capacity? Will Amity be able to go to Earth? Like, it's not it's not like there's homophobia, there's human phobia. It's like, will they be able to be together? They're from
human phobia.
Human phobia.
Well, but again, that's why, like, it seems like Luz's perception, because she talked about like bringing Amity to Earth things. Mm-hmm. So again, it feels like she's expecting the door to be that, like, exactly that, a door.
Definitely in Luz's ideal world, she'd be able to go between the places. Yeah. Which is, I mean, that's how it was in the beginning of the show. So,
just bring it back. Bring back the OG.
Yeah. Give us the original plot back, thanks.
I know, but standing in their way is Belos, so that'll be our next topic. But before that, okay, let's bring in the other 4 episodes. So a lot here. Just incorporating them and just get overall thoughts on how you've liked Owl House this first half of the season, specifically, episodes 6 to 10, and, if you want to, reference a favorite episode or a part of the show that you've really connected with. Aly?
Oh, no. Well, overall, obviously, I've been loving it so much. And I have to keep reminding myself that this is was the quote-unquote happier half. Which, I mean, it does track because a lot of great things have happened, even though, building up to... I'll say, in each episode, the quote-unquote, traumatic elements of the plot have that build-up. But then in the end, most of the time, it's been resolved in a really beautiful way. If I had to pick a favorite episode, it's definitely going to be one of the Lumity ones, but I loved Eda's Requiem so much because of Raine, and also Hunting Palismen because of Hunter. They're 2 of my favorite characters now, and they're just, I don't know what I feel like I'd have to pick Knock 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 on Hooty's door, because you can't not.
For the Lumity and for everything.
Yeah, no, for Lumity,
okay.
But also for everything.
Yeah.
Harpy Eda.
Yeah.
Too much is happening. Sorry.
Yeah, I agree. April, what about you? How are you enjoying Owl House? Do you have a favorite episode?
I feel like Knock Knock Knocking on Hooty's door is everyone's favorite, so I'm not gonna say that, even though we all know the truth. That being said, it's funny because the episodes that I would pick, both of them include Hunter. I don't know why I'm slightly fascinated with his character.
You and the whole fandom.
We know why. We'll get into it.
It's fine. So, definitely enjoyed Eclipse Lake. I love, Amity and Hunter sort of, at odds against each other. And for, 2 totally different reasons. And... I love that it's not, one of those, Amity's obviously doing what she's doing for Luz, but I love that, Hunter's not doing it, not doing anything for Luz. He's doing his own thing, so I really enjoyed that. And I enjoyed, Hunting Palismen because we get the Luz and Hunter sort of dynamic laid out before us, but the whole Palismen thing is so it's been a deep part of the allure of the entire show, and so I love the idea of Luz carving her own Palismen. I love that Eda and King went and got it for her, and I can't wait to see what it is that she decides to create eventually.
Oh my god!
I know it didn't come up in the last episode.
Yeah,
that was a lot of other things.
And I like that, from that episode, we also got to see Hunter with the Cardinal Palismen. So
his name's still Little Rascal in the fandom.
You would know. I don't know.
I wouldn't. I'm only on Twitter.
I'm going to call him Little Rascal.
Okay, Little Rascal.
Well, okay, so at some point he does ask what his name is, and he's like,
it's in
that
bird language.
Don't understand Palismen.
Yeah, thanks,
we get a Palismen translator, anybody?
I know. We need it.
Also, Amity's Palismen is a white cat named Ghost.
I love that. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's definitely based off Dana's cat, but also that's the perfect name for a white cat. Come on.
Sir Direwolf.
No, I knew I was.
I mean,
why?
Yeah, that's what I thought of right away.
I know. No, I did too.
Speaking of Luz and her making her Palismen, the end of episode 6, she says she's gonna wait, because it's hard to picture a future without seeing her mom. Well, she just saw her mom, so I think it's very much in play that the opening scene of the second half of the season is maybe her making her Palismen.
Just let's see some blueprints.
I was gonna say, or her obsessing over different
or what it could be
I just see her with hand drawn pictures throwing them in Eda or Amity's face well, I really like this tiger, but then
yeah, it would be fun. Everyone in the fandom thinks that she will have a bat Palismen.
Well, there are other options, but this is now the most
the prevailing theory. Yeah, in her Tamagotchi avatar was a bat in Eclipse Lake,
and her phone case is a bat.
Her phone case is a bat. Beta Luz had a bat, a baseball bat. So people have thought of Luz as bat associated now.
It's gonna be bats.
I mean, that's what everyone thinks.
And then she's gonna
it checks
lead.
out, I
Tell
think.
us your theory that she's gonna lead the revolution, obviously.
Well,
Because
yeah,
she's
I
part
made
of
the
that.
connection. Yeah, the Eda's Requiem, the rebellion is called the Bats. So I'm like, oh, is this a sign that
Yeah.
Rose reads the
No,
Ultimate
it totally
Rebellion?
is. I'm on board 1000%.
So yeah,
Yeah, you've sold me.
interesting bat symbology or whatever now going on.
Also, it's going to be such a cute little bat that she makes.
I know it would be good, but there's also
was-
the Bat Queen. That would be interesting. how it
That-
ties
And
in.
they're like really good friends. Aw.
I don't know what like bats symbolize, but it has to be something related to Luz's personality or like her plot that's happening.
Yeah, we're gonna rehabilitate their image after COVID, so they'll be good bats here. Okay, well, yeah, the Owl House has been really good. I was really impressed with this run of episodes. I kind of like this talking about 6 to 10 together. I think it's like a really
Good bunch.
great group that kind of makes sense to talk about. Like the big thing is like this is just so jam packed. These episodes, all 5 of these, like, potentially overstuffed, but definitely jam-packed. I did like go back and rewatch them for this, and they worked even better, I think, the second time, just because there's like so much stuff to take in. It's really hard to like really process fully every single thing that happens. Like there's a ton of Belos stuff we're gonna go over here, which I didn't fully put together. That information is really doled out well throughout every single episode here. This
Like the second half of the first half is just so much to unpack.
So much to unpack. We're going to try to here. I would say overall, I've started to be really, really reminded of Gravity Falls' second season.
Yes. Oh my God, yes.
With this season. Because Gravity Falls season 2, it was like pretty chill season 1, and then it just went, like, it barreled ahead with
Off
the plot
the
in
rails.
season 2. And I actually, I feel that way. Like, Owl House at times was like pretty chill in season 1, and we have gone full, really, like, heavy plot this season.
Oh,
So,
yeah. Because you had to do all that exposition in the first season.
Yeah.
That's what
but
first seasons are for.
yeah, I mean, you know, is it factored in that the show is not getting as much as they thought, or was this the plan all along to go that, you know? But either way, it's been a lot, I think, to varying degrees of success, but overall, like, very successful. Like, Hunted Palismen is so stuffed, but it has that like strong Luz and Hunter emotional core. Same with Eclipse Lake and Amity and Hunter. So I think those are great episodes. Yesterday's Live was more chill. I think those, although there's a ton of stuff there. Hooty's Door is also like more chill because it's like spread out into the 3 plots. So I think that episode is great.
But all of those 3 plots have so much going on.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're not even going to cover all of it, like the different like demon types and stuff.
No.
And Eda's Requiem for me was the least successful of these. I love Raine and what that episode is doing, but I do think that was like maybe crossed the line of like too much. Like that episode is like kind of ridiculous.
Too much going on?
Because here's what Eda's Requiem does. It introduces the significant character Raine and their backstory with Eda, and also they have a rebellion that's introduced, and that rebellion is squashed in this episode, and Raine is written off all in the same episode, and then also there's like a Luz B plot. I think like I mean, I think the fandom's really connected with Raine. That's great. I like Raine. But like for me, it's like I feel like I haven't had the space to really get invested in their plot and in Eda, and a little bit helps with Hooty's Door because there was that scene with the 2 of them there. So I think that helped a lot. But it was definitely a lot to put in one episode there.
I would definitely agree with you on that. And then there's the Coven leaders. But I don't know if the rebellion is squashed just because its leader is gone.
Well, I mean, there was a 4-person rebellion, and then two of them got put into jail.
Yeah.
And actually, I mean, we're speculating a lot about, like, before the season, is the plot of season 2 going to be the rebellion? And here a rebellion's brought in, and we're like, our interest is piqued. But I feel like probably we're not going to have some huge rebellion in the second half of the season. Like, at some point, you got to, like, do something with Belos. But I think it might be
maybe
more
in
like
the
a localized...
quarter.
Yeah.
Like the last 3 episodes.
Yeah, or like specials or something. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm you know, considering like that they teased the idea of a rebellion and instantly squashed it in the same episode. I'm definitely less like thinking of like the rebellion as like a major component of the rest of the show. But it's, you know, still possible. I think and Raine will definitely come back. But it might not be for a while. So let's talk about, and in terms of favorite episode, by the way, I still Hooty's Door, great. Yesterday's Lie, I think, great, and maybe my favorite season is still episode 4 with Eda's mom, though. I think that was still like one of the best episodes for me. But yeah, I think there's been and overall, by the way, like even I actually not sure any of these like 10 episodes of Owl House are in like my top 10 of the overall year or something. I'm not sure, like, or maybe even top 25. Who knows? But like as a show, I feel like it's really stepped it up over. Like I've always like liked Owl House, and I've been interested in it. Maybe it would surprise you that until this group of episodes, I didn't necessarily consider it to be one of the best shows. But I think that kind of has changed now. I think these are like such a strong group of episodes. I think the show has like really upped its game a lot and come on strong in every aspect. So great all around great stuff from the Owl House. And let's talk about a lot of different great things that the show has done in addition to Yesterday's Lie. And yeah, I was mentioning all the Belos stuff. So this isn't, I don't think it's like a major component of the 5 episodes here, like the Belos mythology. But I was impressed with how much it was kind of doled out throughout all of the episodes, except for episode 8. But there's a lot going on there. So I think it's fun to recap. Let's recap all this information, that we got from 6 to 10 on Belos and the Day of Unity and Hunter. And then we will have a separate podcast just on theories between season 2A and 2B if there's enough time between the seasons. But
or just the hiatus.
Yeah, or at some point. But I don't know. Like, will Belos be resolved between 2 and my working theory is still like Day of Unity probably going to be the season 2 finale, right? Like, is that still what we're working towards?
Probably.
But that being said, he does have the Titan blood now for the key. But that seems like just one component because he is waiting for the specific Day of Unity. So let's go over this. So episode 6, we learned Belos needs the 9 coven heads we learned this is like I didn't fully appreciate this. We know his motivation. He says he's going to unite the realms and create a utopia free of wild magic. It's what he says. But he needs the 9 coven heads. He also is like turning into like some sort. This is like my editorializing of it, but turning into like a monster, and he needs the Palismen to stop that. So we know that in episode 7, Raine says Belos is trying to steal as much magic as possible by making wild witches join the covens before a Day of Unity. So that's why he's trying to bring all the wild witches. And he's stealing magic. Which, by the way, that's what I tie into the basilisks from episode 10.
Yes.
That's why they studied them or experimented on them, rather.
Yeah, so V says that, they're trying to learn how to drain magic. Belos is really interested in accumulating a lot of magic. So I think that's how the basilisk tied. That was an earlier attempt by Belos to figure out how to get enough magic for his uniting of the realms, presumably.
Or also to, like, maintain his witch form instead of his monster form.
Yeah, a little unclear how his form kind of ties into that, yeah.
Because he, like, drinks the Palismen or absorbs the Palismen energy, juice, whatever it is.
Yeah. Raine says Belos is preparing a big spell for Day of Unity, but he needs every head witch. And so that's why Raine, like, probably not coming back until Day of Unity. They're, like, cocooned or something, but, like, specifically needed for the Day of Unity. So we know...
Or what if Lilith breaks them out somehow?
Yeah, unless we break Raine out, that would be the only thing.
Please, I need it.
But at least like we know Raine's coming back at some point. In episode 9, a lot of stuff. We see face reveal. We see Belos' face. We got 2 face reveals in these group of episodes. Very resonant with no face streamers today's youth. Okay, I think it makes that's. Belos was a no-face streamer before.
They're VTubers in their spare time, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think so.
Absolutely.
Belos' faces to me looks wooden, partly wooden, I will say. But that's me speculating. Yes, that's what I would say. We see the Grimwalker page in a book. If you're not in the fandom, you might have missed this Grimwalker.
You're not
but basically
part of the fandom. This is what you
miss. Basically, just go back to the beginning of Eclipse Lake, and there's the book. There's a book that's open, and it's talking about Grimwalkers. We'll come back to that in a sec. We don't know what it is. Belos says he's been to the human realm before, and he says he's big plans for Hunter. It'd be a pain to find a replacement.
Well, he says the Titan has big plans for Hunter, whatever the heck that means.
Yeah, he could be ascribing for the bigger meaning to himself. I guess that's why I wrote it like that. I interpreted it as him just like saying that.
Yeah,
it's not
absolutely.
real. But it could, for all we know, Titan could come into play. And then in a lot of stuff with the Titan, I think they've done a better job at like. the Titan is like the core of the Boiling Isles because they were inside the veins in Eclipse Lake. I think they've demonstrated that pretty well. Also, whenever they're at a region, they're like, we're at the neck, we're at the, like whatever. It's like, that's how you talk about where you are in there. It's weird. And then in Yesterday's Lie, so this information is according to Jacob, so it might not be true. But I think the show presented it that it probably is true just because it gave it its own like animation style. He says there are two brothers that went into the demon realm. And also, if you notice, one of them has a cardinal on his shoulder, one of the brothers.
Two brothers.
Okay, so that's all revealed, and not even like the main point of any episode, nor even like the tertiary point, right? Like, all this is just like even like in an opening scene or a character says it. So I like how the show's been handling that. Aly, what was your biggest thing out of all these things? What's your biggest thing?
What? There's too many things to pick one big thing.
Is it Grimwalkers? Is it seeing Belos?
Okay, well, it's definitely Grimwalkers. First, it was seeing Belos. I mean, at first, it was probably seeing Hunter, just because he's my beautiful boy. It's probably definitely the Grimwalkers, and I don't want to get too into it without spoiling, but Hunter is a Grimwalker, obviously. Not obviously. The other thing, I guess...
April, you sometimes are checked out from fandoms. Have you heard Hunter's a Grimwalker yet?
No, I haven't. First time I've heard it, and now I'm like, I have to research.
Okay, let's briefly introduce April to this concept of Grimwalkers. Please. And this is the new Adrian is a Scent Monster for the Owl House. It's very exciting that we have an Adrian is a Scent Monster version. And they're both blonde boys who might be clones. It's great. This is so Grimwalker. There's just a page in a book. People interpret it as like this is like how you make a clone or a homunculus. And there's like a word in there that if you Google it, like there's clone is somewhere in the definition. There's like a list of how you make it includes palistrum wood. So
and the biggest part is that in the book it shows a picture of Hunter's eyes, basically.
People think the eyes of the drawing match Hunter's eyes, yeah. So people are like, Hunter's a Grimwalker, Hunter's like a clone of someone.
He was made from Belos's DNA somehow.
Yes. And so this is the new. This is like the prevailing theory. I think we have new information here with the episode 10, which we can talk about.
I was gonna say the other thing. That's the biggest thing for me is the brothers, because they were absolutely, probably, maybe Belos and Phillip.
Yeah, a lot of people. So we thought before this episode 10, everyone's like Belos is Phillip. I think we talked about this in the last podcast. Everyone's like, I assume Belos is Phillip or a descendant of Phillip. Since there's two brothers, that definitely puts into play that Phillip might have been the other brother.
Who died, and like that's why Belos is against wild magic.
Well, okay, so here's my addendum to the Hunter Grimwalker theory. First of all, buying or selling Hunter from what we've said, April. Do you think it's true?
Oh, well, I feel like it probably is, but you also know how quick I was to jump on like Adrian.
Yeah, I think I expected you to say yes. Yeah.
I need to go look at the proof, and then I'll get back to you.
I'm gonna pull it up.
Yeah, put in the chat the page for April to examine.
I'm on it.
Yeah. Okay. So my Hunter's a Grimwalker, and my thought was Belos. He's sick. His body's dying. He is preparing this new Grimwalker vessel for him to move into. He will essentially kill Hunter's mind and occupy his body.
Okay.
And maybe our Belos is not the original Belos. If Belos was Phillip before this episode, this is what we thought. Maybe this Belos's body is a wooden clone, a Palismen made clone of the original Belos. And so he is like hopping into new bodies, like Hordak Prime-esque in She-Ra. So that was my first thought.
Well, that would also, that would make sense too, because we don't know why Belos is determined to have or keep him. Oh, look, you're right.
April has
right
seen
there.
The page. Yes.
Also,
it has a drawing of a baby.
It's got like the picture of like the baby, and then there's like a check mark by something. Because what is it? Like Bella said something to the effect of like,
watch it grow up, raise it as your son. And
yeah.
Then it's
So Bella says it would be big plans. It'd be paying to find a replacement.
Oh yeah, then he has to start from scratch, like with a baby.
Yeah, he has to grow another one.
Yeah. It should be a red flag for Hunter, a replacement. But,
it could be.
And he thinks it's going to be Kiki.
Yeah, he thinks it's like a replacement in his political position or something. But probably not.
No, well, the other thing is that if Belos was one of like the original two people to come from the human realm into the Boiling Isles, like he would have to be
years
dead.
old.
Yeah, like,
Right, so it's too old unless he found a way to magically prolong his life, yeah, such as this.
which may be what he's doing by like doing the Palismen and taking their energy and that. Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
Well, I don't know. I don't know how the Palismen's exactly, but note that Palistrom wood is a component of the Grimwalker recipe. So maybe his Grimwalker is too old, but he's trying to push it as long as he can by keeping the wood in there or keeping.
I guess that's partly why it's heavily guarded. Where did they steal it from? I don't even remember.
It's like club, garden, I don't know, something like that.
Yeah.
They made it sound like a country club, but now it seems
but
like
that would also explain why he's trying so desperately to get back to the human world too.
Yeah, we'll come back to that in a second. Okay, but briefly, and we'll spend more time on this. We already spent a lot of time. The new theory that I have is that Belos either he's a Grimwalker or he's still the original one that he's been able to infuse with something, but he's now trying to bring Phillip back to life through Hunter. Now he's trying to revive his brother into Hunter's body. That's what he's preparing Hunter for Phillip to be revived.
He's lonely.
This is getting too Full Metal Alchemist for me. I'm gonna this is
I don't know how Phillip is alive somewhere. His mind is alive. It's like the second to last season of the 100, very similar. But yeah, it's. I mean, all of this is like, not too far off from what we've seen from sci-fi stories before. But Phil, just in general, like Hunter is a vessel for someone. I think this is the general thought of people.
My sweet boy.
Yeah, and that's why you need to. That's why this episodes 6 and 9 are so important in terms of getting you emotionally invested in him and his plight, because it's a very tragic potential fate he has, unless Luz can stop it. So okay, there's the Hunter side of things.
Or unless Eda can adopt him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But how does Day of Unity play into this? And again, Belos' ultimate motivation is to merge the realms.
So he can find, I don't know.
He can live forever and conquer the human realm.
Yeah, my thought with the uniting of the realms, and I still think this, is that he could just go to the human realm, and maybe he's originally a human, but he can't do magic there. But if he united the realms, he could use magic to control the human realm. That's kind of where my thought is.
The world has changed since.
But he said,
there.
I keep remembering that he said at like the end of season 1. He was like, "You probably think we want to invade, but the Titan's will isn't that simple or whatever."
Yeah, he might think that his rule is not going to be violent, and it wouldn't be. But I don't know. It could be one of those things. But yeah, he might need to unite them so he can live longer. Maybe he doesn't even want to rule, but he does say he wants to unite them somehow. And creating a utopia, that implies he's gonna be ruling in
lots
some
of
form.
things.
Look, when you use words like utopia, I can't help but imagine that you're trying to conquer it. For not good reasons.
I would say. So it's interesting how Day of Unity will play into this. Will he try to do something with Hunter before that? Or is it all at once?
Well, and that's the other thing is like the thing with Hunter separate of Day of Unity.
Yeah. And how does is that the door completely separate from Day of Unity, or is this
I feel like it's connected.
Maybe like Day of Unity is like his attempt to open the door, and if that doesn't work, then he's got Hunter as a backup.
So I think like he just needs the Titan blood to like make a new portal door, seems like. But that's not necessarily his ultimate plan of uniting the realms. So maybe he needs the working portal door. Step 1, working portal door. Step 2, use the big spell with all the Coven leaders to make that portal door into a thing that combines the realms? So let's see. But yeah, we do know separately these things. So that's, and this is what I mean by like, it's just exciting that all of this is still in play here, and presumably all of this will pan out in the next 11 episodes. If not, then three specials. So very very exciting stuff. Love that there's clones in play. We love clones here. We love. You know how much we've talked about Adrian's a Senta Monster in the Ladybug podcast, and there'll be a lot more talk of that next podcast too. So don't worry.
Look, I bought it.
I'll buy any clone theory immediately. Yes, I was in right away.
I'm here for the clones.
Clones are the best.
We love clones. Clone Shiro, all the classic clone theory. Okay, let's keep talking about Hunter. Let's.
Yes.
So this potentially tragic fate makes all this stuff with Hunter more sad. But yeah, we have two Hunter field trips or whatever you want to say with Luz.
Yeah, life-changing field trips with Hunter.
Yeah,
Right.
you know, he is the Zuko type too.
He is.
Yeah, and is the Scar, and yeah.
Oh, sweet baby.
Well, he's that makes that's we all love that character. Yeah, and hunting Palismen, and then Hunter like runs off at the end, and with Amity in Eclipse Lake, and the summary I guess is him and Amity are bonding over like fear of disappointing someone who thinks you're special. Is how they try to combine those two character motivations. And you know, I guess both times Hunter has like a ambiguous but ultimately still villainous kind of ending to these stories. But you know, I think, and it still ends being sympathetically felt from the audience towards him.
I was
going to
say it probably only feels villainous because he's just trying to please Belos.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't
Major daddy
necessarily
issues.
know better. Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's important that we understand where he's coming from with this motivation of not wanting to be replaced from Belos, and he's just trying to ultimately curry favor with his like stepdad, basically.
Yeah.
So you know, we know where he's coming from, and we know that he's, you know, as Luz apparently calls him, he's a bad but sad boy
Yes.
from
I
Eclipse
need
Lake.
that on a T-shirt.
I know.
They've summarized this character that everyone loves. And look, Hunter, I don't think Hunter's like the most unique character. I do think he's you know, another entry into this type of character but he's very much a great
He's an
version
angsty
of it.
teen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Angsty, cute teen boy, you know, that is like an anti-hero, that some, you know, the push and the pull of will they be good. I like if he has a like tragic fate from Belos in mind. I love this, putting that character into this position. I think that's a really fun way to use this character archetype in the context of the story. And also, he's like not a main character. He's like introduced into this season. That's been pretty fun too. You know, the character introduced in season 2 is often pretty fun. So yeah, Aly, any other? We've talked to like we love Hunter, but any specific connections you've had with him? Any hopes for him in the second half?
Well, I mean, I think at least on some level, I mean, maybe not everybody, but a lot of people can relate to like wanting to please somebody you cherish, and also, you know, just not wanting to disappoint yourself in that way too. He's just a precious boy. I love my angsty clones. I don't know. I mean, I think his character design is fantastic, and especially if he winds up being related to Belos somehow, it's gonna. I've been losing my mind over that book since I saw it, basically after people pointed it out to me. I think his dynamic with Luz and Amity separately and together, like he separately, I'm trying to figure out how to word this. Like he and Luz they like can relate, or no, sorry, they have like opposite plates, but they kind of go together because like she's trying to figure her life out, but he like knows what he wants to do and he doesn't feel like he can do it. And with him and Amity, they're like two sides of the same coin. Like they're both, like you said before, they just want to please who they love, and it's the best. And I'm afraid for him, especially if he's I like the theory that he's going to be a vessel. I don't know if it's going to be like temporary or not, but either way I'm afraid. And I love him so much. I like his dynamic with Little Rascal too, and the fact that Little Rascal's trying to like actually do what's best for him. Like he pulls him towards Amity and Eda in Eclipse Lake. He brings Luz to him, probably, like, I mean, assumedly. And yeah, I mean, I think he's great. I love him so much. I love my boy.
The boy.
Here comes the boy.
Is this
here
an
comes
Oscar
that
from
boy.
Ruby's situation where he'll be temporarily with whoever is in, or is he fully wiped out? This is the question. Yeah, I think.
Or like, if he's a clone, does he get the memories of that clone? Probably not.
Is he like integrated
Like of a
into
new clone.
Phillip, or is this just Phillip like would completely take over? Yeah, potentially very sad. Yeah, I think the Cardinal stuff. I think the Cardinal Palismen, I think, is a good call for like one of the.
Oh yeah, and he's also
best.
in the picture from episode 10, the Cardinal.
Right. So if it's the Cardinal on Phillip's shoulder,
We don't know how long Palismen live.
or
Yeah.
Belos, but yeah, potentially this Palisman could have been Belos or Phillip's original Palisman, or a pet that came in or something, or, you know, so he could have
What if it
been
was the first
intrinsically
Palismen?
tied to, and Bat Queen at some point says like you've been waiting so long to find someone or something. So
Yeah.
they could be intrinsically driven to Hunter because it's potentially the same person or being groomed to be the same person.
Reincarnation.
Right, maybe he is already a reincarnation and he just hasn't had his memories back yet.
I like the idea that he was just like a bird, and then when he went into the Boiling Isles, maybe he became a Palismen.
Oh.
Right, yeah. I don't know how the picture works with like they already met the demons, so they could have went in and came back and brought the cardinal with them, or they could have just went in with them. Are we going to get the origin of the Boiling Owls? Were the witches humans? Were all the animals, demons, all just animals at some point? April, do you have favorite Hunter moments from, how about this, from the 2 episodes?
Favorite Hunter moments?
Favorite Hunter moment.
This is my grave.
Yeah, I did enjoy him digging his own grave. That was...
Listen, I can relate to that, definitely.
I was like,
Immediate,
everyone...
anything that inconveniences me.
He's genuinely digging it. Like, like it's not even like a conversation. He just starts digging, and
when you get that boy a shovel, his hands are gonna get dirty.
Right. I think it just a moment for me was at the end of Eclipse Lake, whenever like he does talk to the little cardinal Palismen. I just think it's so sweet, especially because the entire episode he's like, "Get away from me, go away," like all of those things. And so then for him to just like show that soft side is so sweet. So such a good boy.
Sweet
Yeah.
boy.
Yeah, I like the stuff with the cardinal, those ending scenes. I think that's he's very, very sweet. Especially
considering we know that it's taken the cardinal a long time to find someone that it's bonded with.
Yeah.
And I feel like obviously that's going to be super significant, which is why I'm totally on board with Aly and the cardinal being in the picture from episode 10. So
yeah, make that connection even stronger. I also love his fight with Amity in Eclipse Lake. Definitely one of the highlight scenes, I think, of these group of episodes.
Yes. Oh my god. Also just Amity in that whole fight. I love how she's the episode before, "I'm not that cool," and then she literally beats the crap out of somebody the next episode.
Yeah.
Someone who's like supposedly also more powerful than her because he's older. And part of the Empress Coven.
How old is Hunter?
16, I think.
Yeah, is that real? Hunter,
I think Dana said it on the AMA somewhere, but it was a while ago.
And it should be noted, in Hunting Palismen, Hunter like has a version of his backstory. He was a powerless witch. He's found by Belos, but he comes from like a powerless family. So the him being like a clone is contradictory to that. So that would need to be like.
Well, but this is the thing. We don't know. Like he might have like lost his memory, and the only thing he remembers is that Belos found him, and maybe he told him like you're.
Yeah, I mean, Belos just could have told him that.
That's the story Belos told him.
Because you don't remember stuff from first few years. So
especially when you have as a traumatic life as he does.
Easily be explained with that, I would say. Yeah. So I think that's probably where we're going. But there's a lot of Hunter including his name being revealed in Hunting Palismen.
Yeah.
Great name for him, Hunter. I feel like he's a hunter.
He's definitely a hunter,
right? Like
I know you guys are saying like that is his name, but also that's what he does. Like basically, his missions are about hunting. Basically,
yeah. Good, very creative, Belos. I'm gonna make a thing that'll help me hunt things. Oh, he's this hunter. That's his name.
What are you gonna call
now
it?
I'm gonna make something that will gather things for me. I'll call it Gatherer.
Yeah, meet your secret brother, Gatherer.
Your secret brother.
Please, it's gonna be another clone. What are they called? The clones.
Grimwalkers. Yeah. The next Grimwalker. Yeah. Okay. He's like, oh, gotta try again.
That's what the G in Grimwalker stands for, is Gatherer.
Okay. Checks out on all levels. Okay, let's transition to Raine, as we already discussed all of these people a little bit. But Raine Whispers introduced, as we talked about in episode 7. Raine is non-binary, at least, goes by they, them pronouns in the episode, has been called non-binary outside of the show. Leader of, Bard Coven leader. We talked about that. We called that, we'd call Michael there and all of our speculation, leader of like a rebellion. And we get all the backstory there, get their past with Eda, which we then get clarified next episode was actually a relationship, right? Because we see the breakup scene, which Raine says because Eda was not opening up about...
Or just not being honest with them.
Yeah. Yeah, not being honest, and just I feel like it's like the emotionally opening up, not letting Raine fully in, like not telling them about something, but just not. It's a big part of Eda, so that we see that has plagued Eda throughout her life.
We got canon Lumity, but at what cost? Raine breakup or Rada breakup? Sorry.
Rada, in the past, yes, and then also tragically here, as Raine is captured after they are on like a suicide mission. So that was also that was
dark, like unexpectedly.
That was probably the darkest moment of the Owl House so far. That scene, gorgeous scene. That was definitely one of the highlights, I think, too.
Also, just have to mention the music throughout. I'm so glad that like the composer is uploading them to YouTube because it's so beautiful. The instrumentals just throughout, but especially that one in Eda's Requiem.
Nice, yeah, I think so too. Yeah, Aly, you love Raine?
I love Raine so much. I mean, just seeing non-binary rep is fantastic, but also just who they are as a person. I like that they can have stage fright, but they're also like actually leading a rebellion.
The Bard Coven.
Because like that's the thing, like your morals don't always have to align with like what you're good at. You just want to try because it's what's important to you, and I really appreciate that about them. Love that they're a musician. Listen, if you show me a non-binary musician, I'm gonna just be I'm gonna fall for them immediately. They're pretty great. I'm trying to remember like specific. There was a funny line that they had. I don't remember. The breakup destroyed me. I'm really worried for them. I want them to be in more of the second season and not just like at the end, but I feel like that's kind of where we're headed unless somehow, I don't know what the heck Lilith is doing, but maybe if like she and her parents, like I have no idea how this would connect, but I want them to break Raine out and the other people who were leading the rebellion so they can all form a bigger rebellion, and then maybe Raine can still lead it. I love them so much. They're great.
Yeah, if we go in the rebellion direction. In terms of funny lines, Eda, do you have kids? That's the most quoted one. Yeah. April, what were your reactions to meeting Raine?
Also love non-binary character. Great. I love that they're a part of Eda's past. I'm also wondering if there's still a little bit more to them, or at least to the breakup, because it seemed like the breakup was around the time that Raine became the leader of the Bard Coven as well. Like it was like that sort of turning point. So that could have had an influence on it. I don't think it's anything that I'll get personally answered, but loved Raine. I love that the conflicting, like being the leader of the Bard Coven and then
not being
stage fright. Like
that's so relatable. I hate it, but I love it.
And then also, but on top of that, being like the leader of a rebellion.
Right.
Like you're in all of the wrong jobs.
Stick to your day job.
Like,
yeah, it really should not be on Raine to lead this rebellion.
Like
against
leading the rebellion and leading the Bard Coven. It tickles me so much. So, but I can't wait to see them again.
I also like that seeing them also like opened up showing us how Bard magic works, because I didn't know what to expect, but it was really cool.
Yeah,
that you could control stuff. Yeah,
I loved that. Like we got to see what the Bard magic looked like in this world, and it was beautiful.
Yeah, I appreciated understanding what Bard magic is. I talked about last podcast that I think the show is trying to demonstrate all the types of magic before all the covens. So I think they've continued to do that in their own way. I think Bard especially, we just see none of it before that. Same with like Illusion before that episode 5 too.
Do you think Skara is gonna like be involved because she's in the Bard? She's on the Bard.
Oh yeah, Skara is a Bard. Yeah. If Skara was a character, yes. But I don't.
She's a character.
Anyone
I love
character.
Skara.
I know you do.
But look,
she does exist.
Remember how many people were talking about Basha after season 1? Basha is not a character this season.
She is. We know the name of her Palismen, and we don't know.
Yes, she was just in that Palismen scene, which was fun. This episode 6 is really good. That opening scene with all the Palismen too was really fun. I love Willow's Bee. I think is my favorite.
Oh my god, Clover is perfect.
Clover,
I want Gus's Palismen to be named Goops, just because. I feel like we mentioned.
No, it's a squirrel, a blue squirrel, yeah. And Basha's Crab Maya. Okay. Sure.
Yeah.
Why?
Sure.
They call me.
That's her name.
Yeah, why do they have normal names? I don't know.
Because they have feelings just like the rest of us.
Yeah, I mean when they're not like wooden.
Normal
version,
names that
I
aren't
guess.
gatherer or hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah, just call them. Well, Belos should name all the Palismen. That would be better.
I'll name this one
Before he
murderer.
destroys them. Like,
Arsonist. Like,
I like in terms of Raine. Yeah, I liked what April's saying. There's maybe more to the story because we know like we learned Eda was like the motivation for Raine to like head up this rebellion, and that was like we saw like the beginnings of this. And how does that fit into the timeline of the next episode? We see when their breakup happened.
I would like to see them date.
Yeah, there's a lot there. It's just a lot presented. There's a lot to take in. I will say, I think probably like I feel like I saw Dana mention that like maybe a potential spin-off show would be like young Eda.
I would die. I would actually die.
I think Raine would factor in a lot. And as we saw, like there's so much to there. Like we saw a lot of it in Eda's Requiem and Hooty's Door, and then there's like even still a ton of gaps to fill in. With Raine, with Eda, we'll talk about Eda.
I need those gaps filled in, please and thank you.
Yeah, well, the show might do more of them as we go. Bringing Eda and her character stuff into it, as we talked about that scene in Hooty's Door. But Eda has the plot line in that episode where she learns to accept her curse, the owl beast, and through that is able to turn into Harpy Eda. And then the follow-up to that in Eclipse Lake, she makes talks. She has to learn to talk to the owl beast in order to control kind of Harpy Eda and turning into Harpy Eda instead of like trying to direct it. Just like learn to talk to it, the owl beast. So we have like another, and I would say this is all kind of a follow-up to season 1 and specifically episode 4 this season when. We talked about a lot on the last podcast about this about Eda's mom trying to fix Eda instead of accept who she is with her curse. And so I think it's interesting that the follow-up to this is Eda, it's not just like she doesn't want her mom to constantly be fixing her. She has to also learn to accept it for herself. And I think that's kind of
I was waiting for that follow-up. It was beautiful. I like how they got really artsy with it, even though it was like, there's a lot to unpack there too. I mean, also the person in the hood, the collector.
Yes, the collector, who presumably we will see in a future episode.
It's too much. Way too much. I'm just like, can we, now it's not Amity, people. Stop, please. Get off
Amity.
There's a running theory that before that episode aired that, like, because we saw the clip in the trailer, everyone thought it was Amity.
Yeah. We saw the Eda had a run-in with the collector. Very weird part of that episode, but yeah, it is very artsy kind of in Hooty's Door, and really this is one of the
implies that the curse like didn't come from the Boiling Isles or it came from another part of the Titan because it's just washed up on the shore. But I'm like, why is that in her memories? I don't understand.
Interesting.
It's confusing.
Yeah, I mean it's very very like metaphorical, so that is interpretation, and
that's true. Yeah, it might not mean anything.
Yeah, it is. Like I say, yeah, you say it's very artsy, and I do think this is like one of the standout moments of these 5 episodes too is the gorgeous Eda curse scenes, and that's like in addition to the standout Lumity moments in Hooty's Door, which I think is why this is such a beloved episode. I do like this follow-up too. It isn't exactly what I expected because I think like wanting Eda maybe wanting her mom to accept her for who she is would maybe imply her accepting it, but that's not really how it works in reality. I think, because you have to like come back to things and accept them, you revisit and you truly accept them for yourself. And I think that's like her next step is it's not just like, don't fix me. It's like, this is who I am. Embracing it like makes her stronger, kind of in the metaphor of her turning into Harpy Eda.
That's why I appreciated in Eclipse Lake when King was like, have you tried talking to it? She was like, oh yeah, no, I didn't think of that. I was like, okay, it shows that like she's working on it and it doesn't actually click automatically because that's not how chronic illnesses work all the time.
It's not definitely certainly not instantaneous for her, and something that's plagued her throughout her life is her not being able to open up about this, as we see in Hooty's Door, and not being able to open up with Raine because Eda hasn't accepted it for herself until now, and it's probably a process and not just this first thing, but Yeah, I mean, it's pretty tragic backstory for Eda, I think, to a certain extent, but also like one I think that's going to resonate and is realistic, and it's always kind of a journey probably in terms of accepting what the curse could represent of many things, and for each person. And hopefully she's like a better person, I think, for it now. And yeah, we get the like magic manifestation of that in terms of like her being a better person, like living her better life, I guess. And like she's Harpy Eda. I think it's interesting use of like a magic concept. So I like that we're following up like immediately on the curse stuff and what this means for Eda and continue her character arc. I think this has for me been one of like the standout aspects of season 2 so far.
It makes you wonder how it's manifesting with Lilith wherever she is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do wonder what's going on with Lilith throughout the. We only see her in letter form, and
I miss Lulu.
The last time we saw her, like it was just implied that they're going to keep using the elixirs to just push it down. So I wonder, she is a prodigy. Maybe she's like, but she also has trauma. She got issues. She's probably working on it the same way.
Yeah, I mean, it's her own version of going through whatever she is, and we don't really know too much about it yet. So, yeah, I mean, I think we gotta bring Lilith back in soon, I would think.
Liz.
Yeah. Any other Harpy Eda thoughts?
Hot.
Oh, yeah. I was just about to say the same thing.
I'm shocked.
You can't deny it, people. It's hot.
She even, like, hits on herself. Come on.
Look, furries, all of you. That's all I'm saying.
No!
Technically, it would be scalies because birds are just dinosaurs. Anyway, moving on.
Thinking face. Okay, sure.
I like it.
Sure, we can move on.
No, honestly, I think it is cool. I'm wondering if... I feel like this isn't going to happen, but I was kind of like, maybe she'll be able to use magic in that form somehow, but I don't know, really.
It's something for us to unlock later.
Because it was implied that this is a tool that will help us later. I guess it was implied that the curse blocks her magic, but if she's able to, like, transform into something else, I don't know.
Yeah, there probably is more there to the exactly what you're talking about, how magic comes into play with it. Interesting. Yeah, I think this is something the show will continue to follow up on.
Bipedal beasts can use magic, but if this is a beast that can fly, does it count as bipedal?
True. We learned the different types of demons, and
well, I guess it doesn't walk on. It does walk on all fours. Anyway.
Yeah, is it a demon? Is it I don't know.
Probably not because it's a curse. But it was. How was it made? I want to know more about this curse, especially after seeing the like trippy scroll come up on the beach. Like, I gotta know.
It's interesting. Yeah, does it play into demons? We learned the demon origin in Hooty's Door too. Demons came from the deposing corpse of the Titan, right? Like that's what they say. Yeah. So
okay, I thought that was in season 1 and I just missed it, so I'm glad I don't feel stupid anymore.
Maybe that could have been. But yeah, so demons not, I don't know. I guess all of what we see in Boiling Isles came from the Titan dying is what we're getting at here, which is interesting. Okay, briefly on Lumity, as we've not look, as you know, if you've been listening, we haven't mentioned Lumity up to this point at all, so we've done a good job about that. This is the first time we're talking about it.
It's been briefly mentioned,
yes, only briefly. So in episode 9, episode 8, see our last podcast for all of our discussion on Luz and Amity asking each other out in episode 8. The follow-up in Eclipse Lake is that we get to hear the word girlfriend a lot said by each of them. So that is is referenced. Amity is helping out at the Owl House while Luz is sick with the common mold. And she wants to show Luz she's an awesome girlfriend, which she says a lot. So that
just I think girls being friends.
Yeah, I mean that is what is in the world, girlfriend. That's true. And they're texting each other through Tamagotchis.
Amazing.
Which Amity was misinterpreting Luz's text, and then at the end, the big moment, Luz hugs Amity, calls her my awesome girlfriend.
Yeah,
sweet.
Great. Yeah. I don't know if we have specific thoughts, but I think it was really nice to hear the like it being substantiated. It like specifically referred to they're dating now. It's going to be a thing in the show, at least when Amity's there.
Yeah,
I like that. I mean, it's going to sound so like simple to say, but I like that they're a thing.
Yeah,
yes, they're a thing. They're a thing now.
Like I just like that
explicitly, very
they're
explicitly
a couple, and we didn't have to like kick and scream and moan and fight for it. Like, we
It's
just
not
have
queer
it.
baiting. It's queer.
Yeah. And it's normal. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
It seems like not that big of a deal.
Because that's the thing. You said there's no, I mean, it's probably canon that there's no homophobia on the Boiling Isles, or if there is, it's just, people being stupid. Because Willow has dads. So,
Yeah.
like,
I mean, we've not heard it
logical.
commented on by anyone about losing Amity. The one thing I would like to see, in addition to losing Amity calling each other girlfriend, I would like to see other characters comment on this, because we didn't see much of that in Eclipse Lake. More of just like side ref, like, oh, Amity, it's nice you're here so much now. Like, that was the extent.
Well, we saw
basically, of it.
side eye from Willow after
Yeah.
Amity said girlfriend. She's like, girl, calm down.
Yeah, I want specifically. I mean, I guess they're respecting their privacy, which is
I guess
probably
the
the right way
reference
to
to
handle
it would be King going like, oh, it seems like it was just like a few months ago when she was trying to kill you. Gus was like, that wasn't.
That's commented
ago.
on too. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not like, oh, they're so cute together. Like, we didn't get any of that.
Well, that's the thing. If you see a couple around all the time, you're like, get out of my face, because it's annoying.
Yeah, honestly, it's probably the more realistic thing. What we got, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I like, oh, God, if Willow's dads would see them, they'd be like, oh my God, you guys are such a cute couple, because gay people come together. Everybody else is straight, and they're like, no.
I have to see Amity's siblings' reaction now to this.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
well, obviously they're the
so
hardest
happy
trippers.
and supportive. They're just
or
gonna be
in a
fighting.
teasing way, probably. But
Yeah.
they was a very supportive in episode 5, but yeah, we haven't seen since then.
I want to
the
know.
follow-up.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Luz did not mention the fact that she's dating a girl, but I want to see how Camila reacts, because it's assumed that she's come out to her mom, because obviously she's not even speciesist. She's like the most accepting person.
Well, didn't like Camila in episode 10, whenever she's like saying, "Oh, you have to go to the historical society, and you're gonna meet my friend there," and she's just like, "Your friend," like. Kind of
you
thing.
thought it was she might have thought that.
Yeah.
We don't really know how Camila will react. I assume that
I just saw somebody like pointed out that she might have like a bi flag magnet on the fridge. I think it's a bit of a stretch, but I'm sticking with it.
in the background. Yeah. I my guess is that the show is not really interested in presenting homophobia.
Yeah, probably
I don't think
Yeah.
the show is talked about that. It's also doesn't talk about specific identity or labels. We got Raine. We didn't say Raine's non-binary
Like the most it would
specifically.
be is species related and not sexuality related.
And we also haven't even gotten that. So, I'd be pretty surprised if we went that Camila, I think she would just be like, yay. I don't know. But it would be cool if Camila
Yeah, no, I know.
meets
She'd
them.
probably. I was leading to, I guess, I want to see her be like super supportive. Like, do you guys need some snacks? Do you want to like?
Yeah.
Maybe not that exactly,
Like
but
she,
yeah.
she makes a big deal of it because it's Luz's first relationship, not because
Yeah, it's not
Amity.
she's a girl.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, Camila meets Amity, please. Yeah, but as we talked about in the beginning, they're at the kind of contrasting ends of what's going on with Luz. So it's even if there's not Camila maybe not being accepting of Amity, Camila might be not accepting of Amity's role in Luz's life because she wants her on Earth, and maybe that would, if them being together means Luz has to be on the Boiling Isles, that would be in conflict with what she wants. So I think we could see the drama coming there. But and then episode 10, we get one line. Luz, she has the cubes that she talks to, mentions a name to. She can see what they are, and she says, "Well, I wonder if I can see Amity." And then she says, "No." So
Even in like a crisis, she's gay as hell. Bi as hell. Sorry.
She's
check
just
in with
so
her.
excited about her relationship.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's adorable.
it's just
I love
still the episode after they got together. So
Yeah.
I think checks out. Like,
It's
look,
maybe been a week. We don't know.
yeah.
Still fresh.
Yeah.
So
love
that's
how
all we
explicit.
got in no Amity in episode 10. That's all I got.
was-
We'll see.
I'm actually mad you were. I mean, I'm always mad when you're right about that kind of thing. But like, I thought she might be in there because it was her glove. But like,
Yeah.
nope.
Look, the thing you have to understand with the show is that Amy has never appeared in 3 consecutive episodes in a major way. So it's
She's always mentioned.
I'm interested. Like I said, I feel like I've had a good read on like Amity as being only a side character to the show up to this point. Will this change now that they're dating? So far, no, because of episode 10. But that was a very loose, specific episode. Maybe Amity is incorporated more in the second half of the season. We'll see.
She has to be. Her parents are important. Her, like, she's important.
We have not seen Amy's parents since episode 2. Presumably we'll follow up with them pretty soon.
Well, because also her dad is, like, an engineer or something. And, like, Luz made a point to say at the beginning of episode 10, like, the hardest part of making a portal is finding someone who can. And, like, maybe he'll make one some way. I kind of doubt it.
Could tie into the portal. We've seen the Abomatons a few times since episode 2, so their influence has been felt. The dad, and the Blight Industries. So I think that would be. I think there's an Abomaton there with Belos in that one of the scenes. So yeah, I think that's going to be top of the list for the second half of the season. Seeing the Blights, seeing how they're factoring in. But yeah, we will see with Lumity. We're very excited. But yeah, I mean, now that they're together, we got an episode where they called each other girlfriends. Like, at least Luz says one line, episode 10. There's not like a ton more that we need to happen, right? It's not like they need to be in every episode. It'd be nice. I mean, kiss, obviously.
That's the thing. They don't need to be in every episode, but I do want to keep seeing the build up because it does. Other than obviously enjoying the, like, representation, like seeing they feed off each other and, like, help each other grow as people and characters, and they're just a great dynamic. They make each other better people. I'd love to see it, and obviously we need to kiss at some point.
Just would love if it can be together in the background of multiple episodes. Like, I don't think they're not going to be a main plot of many episodes, but like,
if we get a Willow focused episode, they just need to go on a date in the background and just be in the background at all times.
There we go.
That'd be I probably will get a Willow episode, right? Yeah,
we need to, because I'm annoyed. She's been on vacation.
Yeah, not a lot of Willow. I mean, no Gus basically since. I mean, he was in.
He did have that episode that was still pretty Lumity focused, but he did have he had stuff to do. Willow's been very MIA.
But yeah, I mean, look, this show has too many characters. We've written off Basha. That's fine. I think that we're accepting of that.
I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see if there's any Basha coming up. We'll see. Okay, there you go. So how about quick things we haven't talked about. We saw Latissa in Hunting Palismen, which is a second city other than the Bonesborough in the Boiling Isles. So I think that was really fun.
It was very fun.
A second location.
And we got to see other kids in, like, different school uniforms.
Yes.
Yeah, interesting.
Cool. The shady part of the Boiling Isles, I guess.
Yeah,
I wonder how many cities or islands, I guess, are there?
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. How big is the Boiling Isles?
Was it like clarified what part of the Titan they were on in Latissa?
Maybe. I don't think I wrote it down if they did.
That's fine.
But yeah, they have been mentioning Titan parts a lot. But yeah, it was cool seeing another city. It's like Hunting Palismen, such like I said, so jam packed. All these like there's a major another location introduced for part of the episode here. We'll see if we go back there. It seemed pretty cool. We talked about Luz making your own Palismen and the Cardinal Palismen.
We have to talk about the slap because it was beautiful.
Yeah, Luz ghost slaps Hunter awake. Yeah,
that subversion.
Yes.
Instead of kissing or something. Yeah.
It's so good. Just had to make note of it.
Yeah, I do think Hunter is like appealing figure to Luz because like I think Luz would be into the Zuko type characters in like her animes and stuff.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. In like season 1 when she went on that quest and that dude was there, I don't remember who he was.
In like episode 2, yeah, maybe Hunter's the closest thing or something, but but yeah, she's not romantically interested. Seems like.
Yes.
So
she's a girlfriend. Come on.
Yeah.
This was before that.
She's loyal.
This was before they got to
She was crushing.
Oh yeah, I think she is singularly focused by that point for sure. Yeah.
She was a woman on a mission.
I think so. Between episodes 5 and 8, yeah. There you go. Eda's Requiem. I think the main thing we can talk about is Darius and Eberwolf, the Coven leaders, who we meet, who set up the trap for them and then almost kill them, basically. And very Eberwolf is like a little like werewolf thing, and Darius is a imposing, powerful figure who everyone thinks is hot, right?
Yeah.
And and yeah, I think they're cool. Another example of like major character designs, kind of just not even in this episode for that long, but they will definitely come back. I think all the Coven leaders going to be important to Belos' plan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I want to know if any of them might break away and join Raine's rebellion.
Yeah, if we
It would
start that
seem
up.
like maybe, I mean, I don't know. I was kind of thinking the, what is it, the Beastkeeping Coven, maybe, but clearly not if they're working with Darius.
I was gonna say, I feel like it's gonna come from like the smaller like covens
Like
or
less known,
less
I guess.
desired.
Yeah.
Construction Coven?
Which one?
Yeah.
Construction?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think we've heard of that. Darius the Abomination leader. Yeah.
It was like, I think it was the guy who looked like he would be a blacksmith. I think he had like a beard, a white beard, no hair.
Yeah, I think there's still a few we really need to meet, different types of magic.
Yeah.
Probably specifically that
I want to
one,
meet
but-
the plant head because Willow could interact with them.
Yeah, that's probably how we'll bring Willow in, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Hopefully.
In Hooty's store, we talked about King's exploding voice powers. King gets his own powers. It's pretty fun.
We didn't talk about his dad either.
And at the end of this episode,
Oh,
for all this talk, Hooty, he's so
ate the
helpful, he's so
letter.
great. King's dad sees the broadcast in episode
He
7,
wanted
and
to eat a bug. He has to eat too.
he has his limits, okay? And King's dad
His
drops
limits
off a
are not
letter.
starving to death.
King's dad drops off a letter, Hooty eats it, so that's the King's dad
But
plot
okay,
line follow-up.
some people are like, is it his dad? What if it's just a messenger? But y'all think it's his dad, right?
I certainly interpreted it as his dad, but it's
I
not
did
said
too.
specifically.
I kind of took it as a messenger simply because if it was his dad, wouldn't he just like come
Go to the front door.
Yeah, like just go.
I don't know why they left the letter, yeah.
Yeah. Like
Maybe
I
he was
think
like,
that's
what if
the
he's not
reason
home?
why. I think it was a messenger because if it was his dad, like why wouldn't
He
you?
has,
You're
he looked
already
like
there.
him, right?
just
He
go
has
to the
the
door.
skull thing. That was why I thought that it's his dad.
But that's just in like it could just be his species. We don't know how many of them
Yeah,
there are.
Yeah, could be the type of demon or
Assumedly
something.
0, but like
Yeah, that's true. It is a good point. But so that's the continuation. We have to keep going with the King's dad stuff. In Eclipse Lake. Yeah, I mean, just the fight between Amity and Hunter, one of the standout animation moments, I think, of the season. And
Yeah.
Hunter threatens basically Amity, and then she ends up giving him the broken key after she crushes it, which at first I didn't even interpret as intentional, but I think that was Amity doing that intentionally to make sure she had some of the blood.
I like
even though
that
she gave up the
theory.
key.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Or
it was kind of calculated.
if it was damaged, then Belos wouldn't be able to use it. So she's
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, here, take this broken key."
Yeah, she specifically crushes it before, either because she was like nervous or because she did it intentionally. But at the end, she's like, "I think we're okay." And then that's what they use that's what they use to make the portal in the next episode, and they have more of it. So interesting. But a lot of stuff in the Eclipse Lake too. Very very packed episode. Amity like basically water bending with the Abomination magic.
Yep.
Yeah.
If I had a nickel for every time, I'm not about to do that.
The Katara and Amity voiced by May Women. Why using a bit Abomination magic like this? What's the point of it specifically being
not?
Abomination? Like this could be any material. It was very. I loved it though. Look,
It
I
could
love
be
seeing
plants,
Amity
but it
waterbend.
couldn't really be anything else because illusions would just disappear. Potions, you
Like
can't
illusion
do
of,
that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess you would think it would be like some sort of plant thing instead, plant bending. But apparently Amity can waterbend.
Plant bending is also waterbend. It's an Avatar conversation.
So that means Amity and Willow are friends, right?
There's waterbender, earthbender friends.
Toph
Toph
but
and
the
Katara?
plant, I guess Amity, Willow's the Toph. Okay, but that was very fun. Yesterday's lie, other things, just the dimension, the portal door dimension that loses in. It's interesting.
I did think it was like a multiverse thing until it was a mirror thing.
Yeah.
Because multiverse
And
would be
she can-
too much.
She
to
can
handle.
appear in reflections. She appears in the rain.
That
I
was
assume it was it was cool, gorgeous. I assume this is the type of thing we won't really get an explanation for. Like, I don't think we necessarily need to know what specific dimension thing she's in. It's just like in an in-between space. Like, maybe
Yeah.
that's enough of an explanation. Yeah,
like a wormhole.
I guess
That's not how those work. I don't
I don't know if that's how that works.
Like, what's that movie with what's his face?
but what's that? That's very descriptive.
I want to say it's Interstellar.
Yeah, it's a wormhole.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I thought you were going to do like you're going to give about an example of an in-between dimension, but yes, okay, wormholes.
Whatever happens in Avengers Endgame, that.
Speaking of Interstellar, I did briefly think, like, what if the time is separate on the two, the whole human world versus demon? It seems like time is synced, though. I think it seems like time is synced in between the realms.
Illusion.
We talked about basilisks. How about Jacob, the Gravestilled Historical Society guy? He's a YouTube conspiracy theorist.
You mean Sonic the Hedgehog?
Sonic the Hedgehog?
That's his voice actor.
Yeah, okay. One of
and also
Sonic
Ronaldo from Steven Universe, I think.
Yes.
And I don't think it's actually Ronaldo, but it does seem like Ronaldo. Ronaldo type.
I mean, he's a flat earther. I can't.
Yeah, it's such a Gravity Falls / this show type of thing that he like has it right, and then is like, and also here's some conspiracy theories, and that's very funny, and loses like, oh, phew. Then Camilla frees V from him, and then ends up off screen beating up Jacob
with the chancla.
Yeah, chancla flip flop. Yeah, so.
MVP.
Great moment for
that's how
Camilla.
I did share this meme, but she's gonna beat Belos with a slipper, and that's gonna be the end.
That's the end of the show.
That's the last season 3 special. Just her beating the crap out of him for.
Look, will Camilla come to the Boiling Isles? Will she kind of be part of a rebellion?
Yes, please.
Will she meet Eda like everyone really wants? We'll see. Aly, what haven't we talked about? That's on. Oh, how about the Sea Mama? I just saw a spoiler for Monster Slayer Academia.
Yeah, you knew where I was going.
I will never understand anime. Okay,
you had me pegged there.
I saw it and I was like, oh, I have to mention it. Yeah.
Listen, when she found V in the cage and she was like, "Oh, that's a convincing costume." I thought she was going to be like, "That's convincing cosplay," because she knows this.
Yeah, she says.
I mean, that's
LARP.
what it means. It's the same. Yeah, when she said LARP, I died. Cringe. There was something else in one of the earlier episodes that I wanted to mention. I'm going to scroll up and read your notes. Oh no, where was it? Continue. I'll find it.
Yeah.
Continue.
Okay. April, anything top of your mind we haven't talked about?
I didn't know.
Oh, Eda's dad.
Yes. Oh yeah. I should have bolded that. We meet Eda's dad, Del, and in the flashback
on a trip to the Mandible for something.
Yeah.
Don't know what, and then we don't know what happened after that. But I guess he came back eventually because Lilith was like, "We're going to reconnect." In episode 2 or whatever. No, episode 4. But yeah, her dad exists.
Yeah, and she attacks, unintentionally attacks him when turning into the beast. That's like a past trauma that she's revisiting.
Yeah.
Del, I think Del will be, I think he's a prominent voice actor. I think he'll be coming back.
He'll be back.
Yeah.
He looks like a lumberjack. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good call. We
Maybe
talked about
he's
the
in the construction coven.
We need to meet someone from the construction. By the way, Eda's mom was beekeeping, or she took that up. So we did see beekeeping a little bit with like the fire bees, I think. We didn't talk about Kiki more and the hand dragon in Hunting Palismen.
Oh yeah, she's crazy.
Cool.
Yeah, just talked about her.
Is terrifying.
She's insane.
I love her.
Yeah, she's great.
And then she's very focused on Hunter and Eclipse Lake. So
I wonder if she knows his name because she keeps calling him Golden Guard.
Yeah, maybe not.
Maybe not.
But yeah, the thing is, like, probably she does not have to worry about Hunter like taking her place because that's not what he's for.
Because he's a child.
Also, there are different plans in store for him that she would not be able to fulfill.
Yeah, presumably. Yeah, well, Kikimor will be interesting when she like learns more of the truth with Belos, because probably a lot's being hidden from her. How will she react to that? Aly, anything else?
No, I mean there's so much to unpack still. I feel like we covered everything, at least basically, but I'm very excited to see what's going to happen in season 2, and I'm ready for what's the line? This mama is ready for trauma, because it's going to be the worst half. I mean, not worse in like the bad way, but Dana's like kept saying like, strap in for the second half because it's a doozy. Don't quote. I'm not quoting.
How
her.
much faster pace can it be? These were like.
That's the thing because there's now a total of 14 episodes left, like completely,
yeah, including the specials. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not a lot. So.
But I mean, there's been so much in just these 5 episodes.
It's going to be a speed run from here on out.
I was like, is it so much that like, is everything just going to move like rapidly, or are we just going to get like bombarded with information and things like that? So
I feel like it could be both.
Yeah.
They tend to do a good balance of that most of the time.
I think these episodes are speed run, these like 6 to 10. But that being, I don't think yesterday's lie really was, and I don't think episode 8 felt like that.
Yeah.
So it is like a balance. I know I'm cool with like I love these episodes so much. I'm cool with them speed running. Like this has been fun. It's a fun journey.
Yeah,
very fun.
Let's go.
Roller coaster.
Mm-hmm.
Any final thoughts, April?
No, just I'm
No?
I'm enjoying all of this so much.
Women of color supremacy. Because Camila is amazing.
And I'm here for Hunter being a Grimwalker. So
yes, okay, April's on board already.
Good.
Yeah.
After the picture
it would take convincing.
Yeah, the picture really helped sell it. And then just like as you guys were describing things to me, I was like, oh man, he totally is. Like
he is.
Totally.
He is.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
and I like that. It's like for like when you introduce a character midway through it, sometimes it's like, why weren't they there from the beginning? Well, it's like, oh, this is a character what's like for Belos' purpose as we learn more of his plan. Like I like that being his role for this season 2 type character. I think it's really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really excited for the plot stuff. I mean, I honestly wasn't too invested in the mythology plot of Owl House in season 1. I mean, we did a theories podcast between seasons, but honestly, I wasn't like super hype or anything. It was just like kind of interesting. Now I'm very interested. Like this is the show I'm the most interested in the mythology. This is a huge improvement for me.
Because they're giving us more hints.
Yeah,
they've done a great job with that.
Thing. Like they're actually giving us like mythology.
We just know a lot more. Yeah, we really didn't know that much.
But I feel like in season 1 we didn't really need it.
Yeah,
like,
they were more focused on characters. Season 1s always are. Yeah. And now we're kicking into gear. It's very fun. We'll see when we get episodes 11 to 21.
What do you call something that's stressful fun? Because that's how I feel about this.
Stressful / fun.
Yeah. There's got to be a word for that.
I don't know. Yeah. Is it? Yeah. I think that's
it's a good kind of stressful.
Good kind. Yeah.
Makes
So
anxious.
anxious in a good way.
Yeah.
My prediction is November for when we'll be back, but we will see. That has not been announced.
I feel like October.
So soon. And
October, November would be very soon, but I do think they're far enough along in production. Just depends what Disney feels like doing. So we will see.
Need time to recover. I want more, but I also need to breathe for a minute because that's a lot.
Yeah, I'm cool with like 2-3 months of speculation, but like then I'm let's do it.
Would you see 2022, or you don't think they'll wait that long?
I don't think it'll be that long.
Look, I mean, shows have waited. It's been that long in the past, but I do think they're far enough along that they could air it this year if Disney wants to.
Just knowing Disney, like they're gonna latch on the fact that like this is about witches and it's gonna come back in October.
Halloween, yeah, that's what I was.
Yeah, I don't know if that's gonna affect.
But there's
it,
the Ghost of Molly McGee in October.
I
will say they did air the amphibia episode out of order on Halloween last year, so like it is. I guess that is kind of a factor for them, but we'll say, I don't think there's a Halloween special.
100% a factor for them.
Yeah, this whole show is a Halloween special. You don't need to do a specific.
Is it the Ghost of Molly McGee coming out in October?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, Molly McGee's in October. Yeah,
so 3 shows that would be a lot.
And also we'll see when Ladybug is back because Ladybug was airing back to back with Owl House, and now Ladybug went off the air on Disney US in the same week. So we'll see if which
it'll be the same time.
Yeah.
So we'll be, could be. So it'll be very interesting. We think episode 11 probably called Follies at the Coven Day Parade, not confirmed yet. So that's could be very fun. We will have.
Do you think that'll be their date?
What? The date? Yeah, I think that's a great a parade. That's a good time for Lumity to be dating.
They can go on a Ferris wheel.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know why they'd have Ferris
And
wheels in the boiling
there
ocean.
could be
It's
a
a
tunnel of
carnival.
horrors instead of a tunnel of love.
Tunnel
Yeah.
of Horrors.
They go into they have a better tunnel experience. Yeah,
That's what Amity's idea of love is. She's like, come like sword fight with me. Oh my god, love at first sword fight. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, well, so like I said, if we do an Owl House podcast, I'm hoping it comes back soon. But like, I do want to do a theories podcast. I have even more theories in mind than I said here. So
I have a
It's-
lot of research to do.
you have some research to do. We'll get into all these potential theories in a mid-season 2 theories podcast. So look out for that. Make sure you subscribe to our Owl House or main podcast feed to not miss our future Owl House discussion. As I mentioned, I think at the top of the podcast, next podcast in 2 weeks will be our Ladybug, Net Latest 4 Episodes podcast. So stay tuned for that. And then we'll see after. So a lot to look forward to here as we move into the hiatus of the Owl House, but hopefully not too long. If you enjoyed this podcast, consider supporting us via Patreon at patreon.com/overlyanimated. Thanks to all our current patrons, especially our patron podcast, Otaku Guy 01. And thanks always to our patron executive producers, Steve, Beatrice, Michael, and Phoenician. And if you comment wherever you're listening for your thoughts on all our discussion, your thoughts on our theories, anything that we talked about, let us know what you're loving in Owl House, what you're looking forward to. Should be fun to continue to talk about Owl House into the rest of season 2. Thanks for listening, guys. We will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.